Great people, this is Glen Legacy Davis coming at you again with another lecture. Um, right now, I'd like to talk about the environment, our social society, life in general, enlightenment. Um, it's funny. I had been on here. This was like a few months back, and I had put my mom on here. I had said, "Mom," I said, I don't get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of likes, but that's not my intent. My intent is for the one who hears it to get feedback, to reach out to millions of people, thousands of people. Anyways, long story short, my mom got on here and I said, "Mom, speak what you feel, speak what you think." And she got on, and she was talking about she kind of stemmed off from what I would explain the world, the position of the world that it's in, and why we go from this position to that position. And she had brought up farming, how her dad and her grew up on a farm, and her mom, and how farming was the naturalistic way. And I I gotta admit that when you look at the world that we live in, you gotta understand that when it comes time for people to congregate in a society, congregate as a group, like a collective oneness, a collective consciousness. I said in a lecture before, a group of people all functioning in a business system, back and forth, getting up at 5 o'clock, going to work in cars on the freeway, everybody punching their clock, going back and forth. That's a collective consciousness. That is almost not quite a oneness, because the oneness has a smoke and mirror effect because of the government that has been put in place on us, rather than self-government and self-governance in us, putting us on them. That. So, she had mentioned it, and I think about farming and how we have to eat to survive. Well, here it is. My pap, back in the day, a farm up north in western Pennsylvania. He had raised my mother on a farm. My mom knew how to, plow the fields, how to fix my pap's equipment, how to fend for vegetation, and whatnot, things that you do on a farm, and how to get food naturally, in a naturalistic sense, a naturalistic sense. This systematic form of self-governance has brought pure food in the household. Now, what do we do today? You figure this was years back. This is 2019, about to be 2020. We get our checks. The closest thing, the best way to eat, the quickest way to eat, the naturalistic way to eat today, is brainwash us to think that we have to go to a grocery store, buy things, get a cart, pop things out of the freezer, pop things out of the shelves, read the back of them, monosodium this, potassium sodiumate that, preservative this, preservative that. Nothing's naturalistic like it was back in the day. The word why is it that we can't even drink our own water without finding lead in it? Like the other day, I watched the news. So some mother had found out that her kid was drinking water and got lead in his system, or her system, from the water that they were drinking. You know, everything's structured today. The structure is meant to destroy and warp our mind. That's it. Why can't we be the ones who have total power and control over anything? Want to know why? Because we as a people who sit back in our homes and have families, mother, father, children, nowadays that's all we fight for is ourselves, our families. Well, here it is. It amazes me that we actually run to a place in our community every 4 to 8, 6, 8 years, whatever, to vote for somebody to rule us. Somebody to have power over us, called a president, an election. And we're all, I'm for this, I'm for this, I'm for this, I'm for this. But every single politician out there that works in a system of governance, their system of governance, not your own self-governance, their self-governance to govern others, meaning have total power and control over them. We vote for somebody to have total power and control over us. Why? Why do we do that? Why is it every single time we vote, we're upset? Nothing gets done. Nothing gets accomplished. Well, because the people we're voting for have no interest in anything else but themselves, just as the family, the wife, the husband, the kids in the house, who has total self-governance over themselves. These people want to have self-governance over themselves and governance over all. Put it this way. If us great people got together as a collective oneness meaning self-governance as a community, how do we help each other? How do we help the sick? How do we help the needy? How do we help the children who have nowhere to go? How do we help the sick people? Well, we can come together right now as a group. And why does it take a piece of money, flax plant, that's made of flax plant and cotton, 75% flax plant, 25% cotton, woven up to form this piece of somewhat paper to say that if you don't have this paper and you don't have a job, you can't get anything. You can't go to that grocery store because you can't buy anything. You can't pay your bills to keep that roof over your head because we own it. We're the government. We own it. We own your property. We own your car. We own your house tax. We own your taxes every year. We own everything. And if you don't make our little woven piece of paper by slaving for us and working a 9 to 5, then you can't live. Go live under a bridge. Well, most people who live under a bridge happen to jump off where I'm from because they're so depressed and compounded and compressed with depression. So it's not about this little piece of paper. It's about enlightenment. It's about learning how to govern yourself. Because when you self-govern yourself and others self-govern themselves, then we have a collective oneness of a self-governance that can take over that little percent of people who are for nothing more, nothing less than manipulating, destroying, believing they're destroying everybody else around in their community, and they're all for themselves. But there's no piece of paper and no job that can keep you from being enlightened from the spiritual miracle of the cosmos. Enlighten yourself. Enlighten yourself, self-govern yourself. Get away from the hate. And when you do it, and 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 you do it, pretty soon we all come together as one light, one governance. And we take over the darkness. We take over the darkness. We will shine. We will emulate power. And when darkness gets a wind of the light, the empowerment of light, they themselves will shine too, because they will also realize that we were never against them either. We were all for everybody. Everybody's the same. Everybody is brought into this world out of light, love. Love creates light. Love creates everything. The whole thing, the whole purpose behind love is to create nothing more and nothing less than love and light. Why do you think this phone right now that I'm on is colorful? Everything's colorful because when that light enters your iris and it hits your pineal gland, it emulates light. And I'm gonna leave this lecture on this note. People, don't forget. Next time you go to vote, think about who's in control here. You or what they call a president over you. Think about it deeply. Peace, love, unity, Glen Legacy.